candy? Want candy now?
What's going on, everybody? Nazarachi back again with another episode of Relic Review for Record Keeper here. Today we're going to be hitting the second banner of the Final Fantasy X Dreaming's End event here. And as well with Banner 2, we always get our harder difficulty Conquest Raid Dungeon. We're going against Unaleska this Sunday here. And she is a powerhouse for dealing both magic and physical damage. So you will want mitigation for both. However, she does Dispel, and she has Osmos to reduce the hones of your team, so you're going to want to have useful abilities with high hones on them. Also, she has tons of debuffs and an instant KO, so something like Last Stand or Yuna's USB would be great for this fight, as well as Ultra Cure to remove some of the debuffs you're going to be facing, and also magic and physical debuffs like Full Break, Multi-Break, Magic Break, Physical Break, etc. So it should be pretty challenging, but with the right team composition, you should be able to get through it reasonably well. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but other than that, we do have the second banner of the Relic Draw here to cover. So let's go ahead and check that out. Now, me personally, I'm not going to be drawing on this banner. Almost every single item on this banner, except for Jek's OSB and Kimahri's BSB, will be featured on the Riku USB banner in the future. So unless you really need Final Fantasy X synergy right now, or if Kimahri is one of your fan favorites, this banner is kind of skippable. Now, with that being said, it does feature some good items for Jek, and he is a reasonably good character. I don't really have a reason to go way out of my way to use him. But with good physical buffs like Onion Knight or Shout, you can as well use Dark Bargain with him, so you can expect his OSB to be doing a lot of damage, if not hitting the damage cap almost all the time, because he is very buffable. And other than that, being a reasonable physical dark character, I don't know, he's pretty good. I don't mind Jek. Final Fantasy X, he was an interesting character for sure. Attack 151 on this Blitzball here. It is the Blitz King. Now, because it's a thrown weapon, stats aren't super great, and as well, being a Blitzball, there's a very limited pool of characters that can actually use it, like Titus, Jek, Waka are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head. So not the greatest piece of equipment there by itself. As well, no bonus effects unless you're in Final Fantasy X. You get a small boost of dark damage. Some of Jek's other equipment features that as a constant effect, so not really noteworthy there. The Overstrike here, Blitz King, massive physical dark and fire damage to one target, deals more damage depending on the user's soul break gauge, can break the damage cap. The modifier on this is not ultra useful. You have to have all three levels of your soul break gauge filled up to benefit the most, and then only the first cast of it's going to get that maximum damage. So by itself, it is a little bit below average of a Overstrike soul break. It's not ranged either, so it's close range only, but it does have dark and fire, so that's pretty useful right there. If you buff your character like I mentioned earlier with Shout and Dark Bargain, you can expect a reasonably high to damage cap hit from this. So with that in mind, it is reasonably good if you plan to use it properly there. And it seems like you have about a 0.85% chance to pull this OSB here. And again, it's not returning on the Riku USB banner, so that may be a reason for you to pull on this banner, but for me, I can skip that one. Next up, we have a BSB for Pain here, Pain's Guise. The light armor, 17 attack, 113 defense and resistance, so identical to most other light armor in the game. Small boost to water damage, always in effect, which will go great on your water-themed teams. Your BSB Grand Storm deals 6 physical water, earth, and wind attacks to all targets. Cast Dispel on the whole enemy team, and grant Haste Burst mode to the user. Does deal more damage for each Spellblade ability used in battle prior to using the BSB here. So because it is water and wind, it does have some pretty good versatility here. It will combo great with Titus's Chain Soul Break on Banner 1, as well as with it having some wind properties, you could potentially squeeze it into a wind team as well, with Cloud and Zack, for example, Alphino. So pretty versatile. Not something I'm ultra interested in. Pain's not one of the more memorable characters for me personally, but I don't know. As well, there's no bargains or decreased reduction on your time here, so just kind of not the greatest damage output potential, but 4 physical water and wind attacks. Spellblade can fit in with the wind team again, and Aquaterra, 4 physical wind and earth attacks to 1 target. Both of those are very underused elements, which makes them not deal as much damage, but as well, there are not too many enemies that are resistant to those effects. So with that in mind, if you have the Chain Soul Break, this will complement that quite nicely, and squeeze it into a wind team also. Seems like you have about a 1.49% chance of drawing that BSB, roughly there. Next up here, we do have Kimahri's BSB. This is the other item, if I'm not mistaken, that will not be back on Riku's USB banner, so could be a reason for you to pull on this banner if you are a fan favorite with Kimahri Ranzo here. You have the Spear, 137 attack, no bonus effects, and Aqua Breath, your BSB, 6 range physical water and non-elemental attacks to all targets, temporarily lower their water resistance, and grant haste burst mode to the user. The real value in this is the AoE and the lowering water resistance that makes it stack really well on your water themed teams and with the Chain Soul Break from Titus. Other than that, not the best BSB, but again, great for your water team. Liquid Drain, 4 ranged physical water and non-elemental attacks to 1 target and restore a small amount of HP to the ally with the smallest amount of life. And Liquid Osmos, 2 ranged physical water and non-elemental attacks to 1 target and restore 1 ability used to the ability with the fewest remaining uses. So Burst Command 2, very similar to Alphino and Kane's second Burst Command. It allows you to bring very powerful abilities that have low hones, like potentially Lightning Dive or Sky High with you, and it keeps them usable throughout the entire battle. The first Burst Command does have 4 ranged attacks, so it is kind of useful, but the heal is not the best effect. It would benefit more from some reduced cast time. Again, like I said, if you like Kimahri or you're building a water team, this is a great item, almost a must-have for a water team because it lowers the water resistance. So with that in mind, may be a reason for you to draw on this banner because again, this item's not coming back, and you have about a 0.92% chance to pull this item here, so good luck to you if that's one you're shooting for. I definitely have friends that are playing on this banner specifically for Kimahri Relic, so if that's your thing, go for it. Next up, we got Razzmatazz here. This is a item that's been around for quite a while. It's Titus's BSB, 125 attack, so not so great on the stats there. No bonus effects, so not really a reason to keep using this after you've mastered it if you have better gear for him. Abe's All-Star BSB, 5 ranged physical water attacks to all targets, haste burst mode to the user, and infuse the user with the power of water. This is obviously going to complement Titus's water skill set very nicely here, and it will combo well either before or after the Chain Soul Break, because you'd have the infusion of the power of water leading into the Chain Soul Break, and if you use the Chain Soul Break first, you'll have 5 additional water attacks to trigger it. So honestly, you could potentially squeeze this in either before or after using the Chain Soul Break. That's just strategically up to you. Now your burst abilities here, Volley Shot, 4 physical water and non-elemental attacks to 1 enemy, and Spinball, 2 physical water and non-elemental attacks to all enemies. Very standard combat style BSB commands here. Unfortunately, no cast time reduction. You do have your AoE and your single target, just depending on what you need. Titus is a pretty good character and he's capable of doing some fun stuff, and these will again stack great with his Chain Soul Break. So with that in mind, I wouldn't mind pulling that if I was drawing on this banner heavily. About a 0.78% chance to pull that one, so it seems like it's the lowest percent out of all the BSBs. Next up we have Jex Guys, light armor, 17 attack, 113 defense and resistance again, so right on par with other light armors. Now this is one of the pieces of gear where you do have that constant small boost to dark damage there, so that is pretty good for your dark team. Super Soul Break, Jex Blade, 5 physical dark non-elemental attacks to 1 target, temporarily raise the attack of all allies a large amount. That's good, it's not greedy, and it's very stackable since it only IDs as attack, and the 5 attacks to 1 target. It's not really where the value's coming from. The buff is really what you're looking at here. So I don't know, if you're building Jekt, you definitely would want this in your repertoire. Otherwise, you're shooting for his OSB on this banner, not so much the SSB here. Seems like you have about a 1.28% chance of pulling Jekt's guys here. Next up, we have for Riku, the Force Knuckles, Fist Weapon, 131 attack, no bonus effects, and Master Thief, 6 physical attacks to 1 target, temporarily lower its attack and resistance a large amount, and raise the user's attack a moderate amount, and resistance a small amount. A lot of Riku's buffs are kind of selfish. They only buff her and not the whole team, but the break that it does to the enemy is pretty useful with attack and resistance. You can stack that quite nicely with other breaks. Any full break, multi-break, penta-break, or single target breaks will go great stacking with this. Unfortunately, the attacks are physical only, so no way to beef up any elemental damage on them. But again, if you're building Riku, this is a good support item for her to have here, minus the selfish self-buff there. Seems like you have about a 1.71% chance to draw this SSB here, and it does look pretty cool. I like the way it looks, the purple, so I don't know. I wouldn't be too mad if I drew that. Next up, we have Super Soul Break Fang of Gagazet. I already have this item 7-starred. It is another spear for Kimahri here, 129 attack, no bonus effects, and the Super Soul Break Fang of Gagazet, 5 physical attacks to 1 target and enable each ally to avoid 1 magic attack. Now, this is one of your situationally useful items here. I do tend to use it only because it's the only relic I have for Kimahri at the moment, so obviously I don't really have any other choices, but the magic blink can be invaluable in the right situation. I personally like magic blinks a little bit more than physical blinks. Not the item I'd be gunning for. I'd much rather draw his BSB on this banner if obviously I had the option. But sadly, you may get stuck with this one because you have about a 1.78% chance to pull it. So a much higher chance for this to drop than his BSB. Next up, we have another item that has seen a lot of activity in the game before. Chaos Rod. I believe it was on the anniversary banner, a couple other banners as well. So you have 55 attack, 100 magic, 130 mind, no bonus effects at all, and Miracle Veil, Super Soul Break. This one is pretty useful. Restore a large amount of HP to all allies and automatically heal damage they take up to 2k, so damage stock. Probably not the Soul Break you're going to be busting out very often if you have her USB or maybe one of her BSBs like Tenets of the Faith, but it definitely can be useful in a pinch situation where I guess you're about to die. Really, you're pulling this relic hopefully just for the mastery bonus, or I don't know, as a consolation on this banner here. You should probably pull on banner 1 for her USB if you're really chasing Unirelics. Banner 2 is not really what you're looking for on this banner. Kind of banner 1 for Yuna and banner 2 for Kimahri and Jekt. That's kind of what you're looking at here. So you don't really want this one from this banner, but I guess if you don't already have it, it can be kind of useful. Unless you have better relics for her, then I probably wouldn't use it very often. And it seems like your chance to pull the rod for Yuna here is about 2.84% chance, so almost 3% for this to drop here. And you have to know they probably did that on purpose. Next up here, we have a third relic for Jekt here, Sin's Fang. Another Super Soul Break sword this time, 126 attack and no bonus effects. Ultimate Jekt Shot, another item that's been around for a while. 7 range physical attacks to 1 target and temporarily raise the party's critical hit chance a moderate amount. So pretty reasonable Super Soul Break. If you are stacking this, for example, with Delita's BSB, that will help her out a lot. So there aren't a lot of soul breaks in the game that actually buff the party's chance to crit. So based on that alone, it is a pretty reasonable Super Soul Break. I don't know, I wish his BSB was on this banner as well instead of 2 SSBs for him, but I guess that'd be a little bit overpowered because he's got the OSB featured here as well. Your chance to draw This Super Soul Break here is about 2.13%, and again, the value really is the critical hit chance buff. That is all the items on the banner here. So again, we have another banner that does not have any unique soul breaks on it, and that's pretty reasonable. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out the 100 gem draw here real quick. I'm not really expecting a whole lot. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, I decided to do a 5 mithril pull on banner 1, and I pulled a Braska Super Soul Break. What? No way! Okay, that's really cool. That's my first relic for Riku right there. That's wild. The other draw was off camera, but that means that's 2 single draws in a row that have been 5-star items. I got Braska's SSB, which was a dupe. Again, I don't know why I did a 5 mithril pull. I just kind of felt like doing a YOLO pull, I guess. I don't know. It was a dumb idea, but I got 2 in a row now. So 2 5-star items. Wow, that is pretty interesting. That probably means I'm going to be screwed over for a little bit here in the future. I don't expect another 100 gem draw for a while now. But again, I'm happy I got my first item for Riku there. That gives me a reason to level her. Awesome. Awesome. I'm very happy with that. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have great luck on your pulls as well here. If you're shooting for Kimari, I really hope you get his BSB because it might not be back around for a little bit. And other than that, comment your wants pulls down below. I always appreciate the support, so like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It definitely helps me out, helps build our community, keeps my episodes coming out every week as well here. So again, until next time, this is Nazarachi. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will catch you next time. Peace out, you guys. Later.